What's something you do just to piss people off? I obey the speed limit. I like to spread earworms, but only via Inception, so you cannot sing or hum the song. For example, if I want my wife to sing Prince Ali from Aladdin, I'll drop Alibaba into the conversation a few times. After about 20 minutes she will be humming or singing it. Or if you wanted stuck on feeling, I would talk about needing to peel the potatoes for dinner or peel other items, then also about the muck/yuck off the peeled potatoes, or that something was stuck, etc etc. When you get the person you have to say gotcha. If they say the song name instead of humming it or singing it, then they caught your Inception and you lose. You can also just say lyrics from a song in conversation, but this is dangerous as it can stand out the most. Not much anymore, but when I didn't have much responsibilities and stuff to take care of, I would casually research and state facts to people who would argue in extreme defense of something. I would throw undisputed facts at them, and they would defeat themselves by making the argument about something else entirely, or attacking my character. If I'm already speeding in a car, i.e. anything 10 over the speed limit, and someone starts riding my ass, I slow down to the speed limit. Pissed off some dude with a small dick in a lifted truck that way a few months back on the highway. Speed limit was 65, but it's normal to see people going 70 to 80. I was one of those people. Truck decides to get right up on my ass while I'm going 80 in the far left lane, so if he wanted to be a dick, I will be a bigger dick. I slowed down to 65. Another car must have seen what he was doing and pulled alongside me to prevent the guy from going around me on my right. He ended up blasting past me on the shoulder on the left. Pissed me off too because he did it a mile or two away from cop, and I wish the cop would have seen him. I purposely don't use the grocery stick between my items and the items of the person in front of me because I like watching people panic. Don't get me wrong, I leave a very visible gap between our things. Any cashier would very easily tell when their items stop and mine begin. But I feel victorious when that person panics and reaches for the stick before the cashier is at the end of their items. I'm nice. I'm polite. Especially if there is the grumpy old man at the gas station in line. Especially around arrogant people. Same thing. Smile and be polite. Never move fast, because they feel the world needs to be in a hurry for them. People looking for people to look at them. Attention seekers, I totally ignore. I was at a cocktail party once on a hotel rooftop for a friend's birthday. A few of the ladies were dressed for attention. My buddy and I would start a group game every time they tried to get loud and get attention. Totally annoyed them. Was glorious. When I worked in retail, if a customer tried to be the polite talking but the arrogant needy type, I purposely mellowed out and made zero effort to bow down to their neediness. Made zero extra effort. Made no effort to move faster. Everyone is equal. When at work people ask me if I have enough bandwidth to do something, I reply with, sorry, I don't speak LinkedIn. I'm a real person. Freaking can't stand corporate speak. It's so fake. I drive on I-10 in Texas. The speed limit is 75, so I normally stay at 80. I've had people zoom around me and nearly clip me, or the semi-truck that's in the other lane. I've had a bunch of people flash their high beams, honk, and tailgate me as I'm passing a line of semis, and there's no way around me. Sometimes I slow down to the speed limit or match the speeds of the vehicles next to me for a while. One guy tried to brake check me after he managed to pass me up, even though there were 3 open lanes next to me, but I knew what he was going to do, and I changed lanes as he moved in front of me. He brake checked the cop that was just coming up behind me. LMAO. Every year at my work, we have a truck come around that sells work boots. The company presses you hard to use the truck to buy boots because they just spot it from your paycheck that way. I, on the other hand, refuse to use the truck and will buy a pair of work boots when I damn well please and turn in my receipt, thus forcing our lazy HR department to actually have to do their jobs. It's one form they have to deal with because it wasn't done through the shoe truck that came earlier in the year. They get very upset at the prospect of having to fill out and file this form on my behalf. Oftentimes I will buy boots that were readily available on the truck and at the same price. I just hate my HR department. You can piss an awful lot of people off by just driving the speed limit on the highway. If people knew how to drive properly on the highway, this shouldn't ever happen. drive as far to the left as possible. Right in America, unless you are overtaking someone slower, move back over as soon as you pass them. If someone wants to get past you, they should move into the other lane. Simply knowing how to drive and following the rules of the road should solve this problem. You should never be penalized for driving the speed limit. I'm honestly convinced that Americans don't know how to drive properly. When I visited from UK, I was amazed at how people drive. When I invite people over, if I'm cutting something, like toast, I'll cut into like 80/20. Cutting toast diagonally, but not at the corners, really freaks with people. I've not had a second date in 5 years. Find random subreddits that allow custom flair, set it to mod and just go fucking bananas in their comment sections. Obviously it doesn't make you a mod, but at first glance people will think you are. For example, I caused a pretty big scene in a disc golf sub after I threatened to ban anyone who refused to call it by its proper name, golf but with a frisbee and completely different rules. Another absolute crap show was when I told users in a Star Wars sub that they were being Gungan-phobic and need to respect people's views on Jar Jar or be banned. A classic troll is pretending you think a certain cover version is the original. Works particularly well where the original is a grunge or metal song, cause their fans are obsessed with the idea of artistic purity. Pretend I don't know what's going on. It's amazing when you're handling trolls online, since they just don't expect confusion as a response. When people leave their carts in parking spots as I'm walking into a store, I run over and put the cart directly behind their car, so they have to get out and move it again. My fiance and I watched a woman push a cart across the street to an empty parking spot on the other side, chase it when it nearly hit our car, because she didn't look to see if there was oncoming vehicles, and then parked it in the middle of two adjacent spots literally right next to an empty cart return. Make my front yard extremely tacky with garden gnomes, pinwheels, pink flamingos, and the old lady bending over wooden placard. It looks awful, and I love it, and my neighborhood hates it. I'm thinking of ways to improve upon it. The best ideas I have are the wacky waving inflatable flailing arm tube man, checkered flags on a string, gargoyles, and something else that I can't put my finger on. I need ideas. Someone help me out. How do I seriously make my front yard / garden look totally tacky? Buy my niece excessively large, loud, difficult to assemble toys. She always loves them, and my brother has to put together, listen to, and store them. The only reason she didn't get a toddler-sized drum set for Christmas is because it was sold out. I got her a piano instead, and she refused to open any other presents after that because she was having so much fun slamming on the keys. I just got kicked off the California sub because I was genuinely curious about what to look forward to when I go back. Because I really do have ongoing medical needs despite COVID. It's not like my disability mysteriously went away while being in Florida due to a recent suicide in the family. Someone said something I determined as rude, and I was reminded, oh that's right, Californians are a-holes. It's represented about 75% of my experiences with the humans there since moving there 5 years ago. So basically commenting on what a collective bunch of a-holes Californians seem to be. A position that is unlikely to change. The rest of the state, the non-human parts like the Sierras and Sequoias and high deserts, great. Going the speed limit in a residential neighborhood. After seeing my friend almost get hit by a car going 40 and 20 in my neighborhood growing up, I was scarred. If you speed through a residential neighborhood, freak you. Irresponsibly breeding dogs. The dogs suffer. Many will end up in bad situations, waiting in shelters, or put down. Many will have health issues due to irresponsible breeding. Shelters have to spend money on intake costs, spay/neuter, shots, preventatives. Also the breeder can make some quick and easy money. How breeding is still unregulated and totally legal, especially when things like hair cutting requires a license, I will never understand. Travel at the speed posted on the road with cruise control. I don't get roadage about it, but people do angrily pass me by when I go at the legal speed limit. I'm in no hurry, and going 5 to 10 miles over won't get me there faster anyway. When I do, it usually sheds 1 to 2 minutes from total travel time, so I figured going faster won't actually help. Tesla Rona here. Just a Model 3, but still fast as hell. I'm 61 years old and have no need for speed, but if a muscle car is next to me at a stoplight, I make it a point to leave them in the dust. I want them to reconsider owning a dinosaur car that burns dinosaur juice. When driving inside the city, if someone behind me is erratically and violently swerving between lanes without signaling to get ahead yet get nowhere, I sometimes slowly move into a parallel position with a car beside me to prevent them from continuing to drive unsafely. I don't do this on the highway though, because keeping cars close together at highway speeds is unsafe, and doing this on the highway can cause traffic backup, punishing everyone. Whenever I was bored of playing WoW or whatever MMO and wanted a break, I would troll general chat in one of the main cities. I'm not proud of it, but it was pretty fun. Usually saying one of, video games are for kids. No one over the age of 18 should still be playing video games. Or, Max can't play games, they have no graphics inside. I've opened them up and looked and there's no graphics in there. Would get a guaranteed response and often start an argument that would take a while to die down.